One of the biggest things that people come to me asking about as a behavior change expert is procrastination. We all do it, we all hate it, we all sometimes suffer the consequences of it, and we all dream of a magical fantasy land where we can completely remove procrastination from our lives. Unfortunately, as I like to remind people, procrastination is a natural part of being human. And so I have seen countless clients reduce their procrastination simply by accepting that sometimes it's going to happen and not having so much mental drama about your morality as a person based on how much you procrastinate. By the way, hi, my name is Dr. Karin Nordin, and I run a behavior change coaching company, Body Brain Alliance, where we teach people how to become their 2.0 selves in a compassion-first way. In this video, I'm not just gonna tell you that you should ignore or accept your procrastination. I am indeed going to give you 3 tangible ways to improve your response to procrastination. Hopefully this will make it happen less in the future, but if nothing else, you'll be able to understand it better. And understanding and awareness is the foundation for future change. By the way, if you're trying to personally reinvent yourself or become your future self, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button because we put out videos every single Monday on topics that are very similar to this one. Okay, let's dive into it. I'm about to blow your mind with something, which is that procrastination does not exist. Hear me out, hear me out. I want you to imagine that we're playing charades. And I want you to imagine that I write down the word procrastination on a piece of paper and you have to act it out. What would you do? Would you maybe scroll on your phone? Would you go for a walk around the room? What would you do to demonstrate how procrastination looks as an action? If you're thinking about it, you're probably like, wow, there are a lot of different activities I do that procrastinate. And that is exactly what I'm getting at. Procrastination is an umbrella term that we can use that disguises other actions that we're doing. So for example, let's say you have a big work report that's due later today. And you wake up in the morning and you decide, you know what? I actually need to clean my whole kitchen, deep clean my whole kitchen before I get started working today. That's procrastination. But if you say to yourself, I procrastinated, that doesn't give you any data about what you actually did. Instead, I want you to say to yourself, this morning, I chose to clean the kitchen instead of working on my work report. The first step of any kind of change is awareness. And one of the things you can do to reduce your procrastination, and I have seen this work with tons of clients in our coaching program, is you can start noticing and naming the exact tasks, the exact activities, the exact behaviors you are doing instead of labeling all of them under this umbrella term of procrastination. Okay, let's move right into our second tip, which is that procrastination is not a willpower issue. Procrastination is an anxiety issue. Going back to the example we just talked about, the reason that you're choosing to clean the kitchen is because at that moment, cleaning the kitchen is less scary than actually doing the work report. This is why sometimes when you're procrastinating, you're actually doing things that are productive or seemingly productive. Maybe you procrastinate plan, maybe you procrastinate exercise, maybe you procrastinate clean or procrastinate walk. Even though sometimes in other times in your life, it's hard to get yourself to do those activities. It's all about comparison. The thing you are trying to do seems more intimidating or more difficult or more scary than the activity that you are procrastinating with. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to start exploring the anxiety. I want you to try to sit with it. So when that work report comes up on your calendar and you know you're supposed to start doing it, I want you to sit down and allow yourself to experience the anxiety of the work report. Instead of diving into something else that's gonna make it better in that moment, I want you to practice feeling your emotion. You can even do a mind-body scan and check in with each part of your body, head to toe, and see how you're feeling. Starting to explore that emotion and even starting to brainstorm ideas of how you could make that task a little easier, a little smaller. We'll talk about that in the next point. All of those things are going to help you reduce that anxiety, which is ultimately the cure for procrastination. The cure for procrastination is to emotionally manage yourself around the task effectively. And that is something that takes practice, but it is a skill that you can absolutely learn. And that, whoa, glitch. And that brings me to my last tip, and that is that procrastination is actually often a failure of clarity. How many of you have ever procrastinated booking a dentist appointment? I'll raise my hand for that one. I recently procrastinated booking a dentist appointment for, I think, 4 months. And the reason that I was procrastinating was because I didn't have the phone number. So every single time I thought about doing that action, I thought to myself, oh, I should call my dentist. Oh, I don't have their number. There was a lack of clarity. So if you are procrastinating on a task, I want you to ask yourself, do I have all the information that I need to accomplish this task? If I don't, what can I do to get that information? And what can I do to break down this task into smaller chunks? I work with a lot of clients who have come to me and said that they're having difficulty procrastinating their resume. They want to build their resume, or they want to change the formatting or redo it or whatever. And that is a big, intimidating task. But simply saying I'm going to update my work history on my resume is a much easier, clearer way to start. So I'm going to summarize because the teacher in me has to. Number one, I want you to stop saying you procrastinated, and I want you to start noticing and naming the action you're actually doing instead. Number two, I want you to identify what feelings you're experiencing when you're doing that action and what feelings you're trying to avoid. And number three, I want you to dive into getting yourself more clarity and more of a breakdown of that intimidating task so that it feels easier. Now, here's what I want you to do. In the comments, I want you to tell me one task that you've been procrastinating. Ideally, something that you've been procrastinating for a long time. And based on this video, I want you to tell me what you're gonna do in order to stop procrastinating and actually get that task done. Now, if you're procrastinating on a regular basis, you might also be struggling with some self-accountability. So I highly recommend you jump into this video, which is gonna be all about how to hold yourself accountable to your goals. And by the way, if you need a little accountability to reduce your procrastination, social support does help. And that is exactly what we do inside of our Change Academy membership. Every single month, we have calls such as accountability calls or tidy with me calls, where you can jump on with us and get those procrastinating tasks done. So make sure to check that out. The link is in the description below if that's something that you're interested in. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.